Position papers. What is a position paper? So a position paper is simply where you take a position or a side and write a paper about it. Now, in our format, we're looking for you to describe the situation that you're given, and then you take a position on it, then find sources and cite those sources that back up your position, along with some sort of a summary or wrap up of that position. Now, this course is really put together based upon adult learning principles. And one of those principles is that for adult learners, that the material being taught or the lessons being taught should have some sort of value or impact in their day-to-day life. They can see some utility in that, or they might be able to utilize this in their future career. In your career as healthcare administrators, there will be times where you're asked about a particular topic or subject and what we as a healthcare organization should do about that, or what your thoughts are. That's the reason we put together position papers. And when we're going through and doing a position paper, we want to make sure that the references that we're citing actually back up through facts or through independent sources that back up your position on a particular topic. Your ability to persuade other people to your side or to your points is really going to be key to your ability to move up in your career. So the differences between facts, opinions, and beliefs or convictions. A fact is what it is. The sun came up at 8:47 a.m. this morning, or 7:47, I guess, or whatever time it did. But it's a verifiable truth that can be independently observed, and everybody can agree upon something. An opinion is your thoughts based upon facts that have been presented to you and some anecdotal experiences that you've had. Some maybe you've had 10 years of experience in healthcare, and this is what you've seen, as well as here are some facts and figures, and that's why you come up to this opinion. When you're looking at a belief, on the other hand, or a conviction, it's not something that's necessarily provable by facts. So we want to make sure that our opinion bases, our position papers, are based upon facts, and they can include your experiences, but they're rooted in facts. Regardless of your position on a particular topic, it's going to be very important that you're looking at sources of information in your citations that have a freedom from media bias. If you type in media bias chart, you're presented with a couple of different charts that are available. One is ad fonts, one is all sides media bias chart. The other one is one from a Torrance catalog. Well, actually, I think that's also all fonts. Here's a library. Different types of media charts are available. So if we click on this Ad Fonts Media Home, this is just the first one. Of course, you can start for free. There are ones that do charge you to look, and there are some that are also free. But what you're going to find is a media chart that looks something like this. And we'll pause here while it loads up and say, no, we don't want the email. Okay, so there it's loaded up. You can see that the political bias on the bottom, there's political bias to the left, which would include things like the Young Turks, Occupy Democrats, something called Jezebel, Daily Beast, Rachel Maddow. She's off of MSNBC, and you'll see that that's over on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you'll see everything from InfoWars and Alex Jones to OAN and Fox News. As we go higher on the more reliable versus less reliable, we're going to see a couple of things happening. First of all, original fact reporting. Up here at the top, you're going to see particular articles or websites where it has been judged by this organization that this has very fact-based reporting and there's middle or balanced bias. This is just basically reporting the facts. The sun came up at 7:57 this morning. It is what it is. There is no bias. There's no left bent. There's no right bent. It just is a fact. And interestingly enough, like NPR, Associated Press will have information up here. These are the ones that typically in this green box have original fact reporting or fact reporting from other facts, as well as skews slightly left or slightly right or in the middle. But this is where you're going to find the most fact-based reporting that has no bias or very little bias one way or the other. As we go down, and this is in a green box, you'll notice, as we go down this level of less reliable and reliability, and again, this is not, my opinion, this is a third-party opinion, and this third party is paid for by funding from people who purchase this product. There is no left or right bent to it. It is what it is. And then as you go down, you'll see that some things contain inaccurate or fabricated information. Below this right, they even have unfair persuasion versus propaganda, opinion or high variation reality. What you're going to see is a lot of this down towards the extremely left and right, although there is some down here in the middle, which is kind of interesting, that that there's no bias, but it's completely wrong, or that it's completely misleading information, even though there's no left or right bent to it. So that's kind of an oddity that you see. So when you go through this chart, look at where your news sources are coming from. Sometimes you'll get a news source, and here's Fox News, for example, where you'll see that there is a cluster of green dots in the top middle that are middle or balanced bias, that are also very fact reporting or original fact reporting. And then you'll see that it also tails down to the right. You don't see very much on the left-hand side, though. Let's see what CNN. So CNN also has green dots on the top, middle balanced fact reporting, original fact reporting. But then when it does skew, it skews to the left. So even some of these organizations that skew left or skew right may have some original fact reporting, or may have fact reporting of others' original fact reporting, but there are also pieces in there which are more opinion-based and skew more left or more right. With Obamacare, for example, the fact that there were X number of people insured before Obamacare, then 2 years after Obamacare, there were X number of people insured, reducing the uninsured by X number of percentage points or numbers, gross numbers. If you're looking at whether or not that is a success or a failure, it really depends upon the criteria you're measuring it on. So if the ideal is that we would have 100% of Americans insured as a result of Obamacare, then yes, it failed to meet its objectives. However, if the measurement was a 20% increase in the or decrease in the uninsured population, 20% less people being uninsured, and there's been 22% less uninsured, then Obamacare would be a success. But that's also irrespective of what was the effect on insurance prices? What was the effect on medical care? Did people actually use it? Obviously, the individual mandate was struck down, but is it affordable? So if the goal was to make it affordable, what does affordable mean? Affordable to some tax brackets is different from affordable from other tax brackets. So there are multiple layers in there of what a success versus something being an absolute failure would be. Of course, in this class and any other classes that you have, we're going to be looking for factually correct information, or the opinions that don't have a bias bent one way or another, to help support your viewpoints. The last thing that I want to address is your citation sources. Now, we went ahead and reviewed where you can find out the different bias levels as well as the different level of factual information that each source provides. But you can also see that regardless of where your source is, but you can also see where there's less bias or moderate viewpoints and highly factual information, as well as less factual information. And maybe there's a bent or a lean one way or another. Some of them are opinion pieces. When you're looking at those types of citations, those types of sources for your position, make sure that you're not quoting or getting information from the opinion portion of that. So, for example, if again about Obamacare, if you say that you're not for Obamacare, and then you cite a source that says that Obamacare was an abysmal failure, and that's all the source is, well, that's not a valid citation. Likewise, if you say that Obamacare was a rousing success because here's a quote saying that Obamacare overall was a success. Well, we don't have any facts behind that. We just have your opinion backed up by somebody else's opinion. And that is not a citation. So when you go through and cite your sources, make sure you're citing the factual portion of that. The second thing is on textbooks. Most colleges don't accept textbooks as a source to cite from. And the main reason why is if you look at your textbook in the back, your textbook is full of references because the textbook is a compilation of citations and references. So taking a citation from a compilation of citations is not original research. So when you're looking at a textbook and using that as the potential for you to find information from, you may want to look where the textbook got that information from. Go back and look at the original article itself or the original publication, and then read that and make your determination based upon that. That way you're critically thinking about what the textbook authors have used rather than just going off of whatever they said. You always want to make sure that whatever you're citing, that you have read it so that you can be verified and fact checked on it. So with that in mind, good luck with your position papers. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to reading them soon.